Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We're back. We have the Paul Stanley Iceman on the bench. We're getting ready to do the wiring for this, but I wanted to show everyone what pickups we're going to put in it. We're not going to put the original pickups back in. They're too hot, and I believe that they're overwound and way too much resistance, double, triple what it's supposed to be. So before I solder everything together, I decided I'm going to put some Seymour Duncans in there, and they have never let me down before. So let's get at it. A couple of humbuckers going in this thing, and I'm going to show you. Oh, by the way, if you'll dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. We have the old pickups over here. I have my ohm meter here, digital meter. These things, this is the bridge pickup that came out of this guitar. It's reading, and I've never seen one read this high. A pickup, a humbucker, 13.4. I think that they were hot rodded beyond what technology knew what they were doing back in the late 70s. This is the neck pickup, 13.5. There's two reasons why I'm swapping out these pickups. Let me get rid of my voltmeter here, digital voltmeter. There's two reasons why I'm doing this. First and foremost, new technology. I'm putting all new pots in it, and I'm putting Les Paul style pots in this, 2 volumes and a tone, and that's how I'm going to wire it up. I have already, as you can see, there is some wiring going through here, and it goes through there, the cavity, and comes out the back. That's just the 3-way switch. Again, I went with a Les Paul style switch. That's the way this guitar was originally wired up, 2 volumes and 1 tone. On top of everything else that we've done, see previous videos. This is a more common switch. The switch that was in there was a little wonky, tiny little thing and I knew, that we had trouble separating the pickups and getting the tone to work right. So, like I said, I decided I'm going to go all the way. And when I tried to put these old pickups back in, I don't like these. They're great pickups. They're hot rodded pickups, but I have a feeling that they have lived their lifespan. I've never seen a pickup that was registering that high, and I don't like this. And I'm going to put it right up there. I don't like the ground is actually the sheathing on the wire, and then that is inside the hot wire. So negative, positive. I tried to source out some closer to just a 2-wire pickup, but I have used Seymour Duncans in so many applications. It seems like everything comes with micro wires now. You just solder a couple of them together. I'm going to go through that and how to do this. Today's exercise is basically taking these original rings off and putting the Seymour Duncans, running the wires through the cavity to get them back here where I'm ready to start soldering. We're not going to solder today. That's going to be a different tutorial. But what we're going to do is show you the difficulty in salvaging these old humbucker rings that set in there thusly, because you can break them very easily, especially when they're this old. They get brittle. So we're gonna start with that. So I'm going to take the guitar off the bench because really only we're going to be working with the pickups, the new pickups and the old pickups. Okay, so stand by. So we're back. Neck, bridge, these are the pickups that came out of it. Just like a Les Paul, they have these, they call them rings, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to replace these pickups with the Seymour Duncan hot rodded humbucker set. I like Seymour Duncan. I've used them a lot. All we're doing is switching over what you see here to here. So when we get done, the Seymour Duncan pickups are going to be in there. Okay? It sounds really easy, but it's not. By the way, all my basses have Seymour Duncan pickups in them. I use quarter pounders in my basses. I just swapped out in a very high-end Les Paul at the shop that I work at, and subcontract to during the day sometimes. They had a customer come in with a Les Paul, relatively new, but a very, very nice instrument. And he wanted to put in Seymour Duncans and very similar ones to what's here. I've always used, and I always love it when a customer comes in and wants to put Seymour Duncans in their guitar and take out what's there, because generally it's an upgrade, usually 100% of the time or 90% of the time. So these things are spring loaded. I'm going to do one at a time. We've got the neck. These are labeled. One, sometimes it says neck and bridge on them, but look, if one says neck, you know the other one is for the bridge. So we don't need that, and we don't need that right at this moment. all today's exercise is to show you how to pull these out and put them back together, and how much fun that is. Because it's not easy. You would think it would be pretty darn easy. This hardware is, who knows how long they've been in there. I can tell you the screw heads are pretty whopped out. The springs are down in the cavity, so they don't see a lot of abuse. But we're going to put the new hardware on. New screws, new springs. So the first thing you do is undo them and try to orient how, so that, you know, the name is down, facing down towards the bridge, and generally the skinny, these are, I don't know if the camera will pick up on that. There's a thin end and a thicker end. And you want to kind of have, yeah, even this one, the bridge one is even fatter, but you want to try to put the thinner end as it tapers down thusly towards the neck, so that you orient, the name will come out facing towards the bridge. Gotcha? And that's an easy mistake, because you'll get done and you'll have one of them backwards. And plus you want to be able to orient the, wait a minute, I could be wrong. Yeah, because the way that came around went this way through the pocket. It is the fat side towards the neck. Sorry, I had it backwards. See, I almost messed up myself. We're going to go test fit it on the body of the guitar when we take it apart, because these things have been out of there for 100 years. Well, several months. refer to old videos. Unscrew them. The screw goes through the spring, and then it catches the bracket on the bottom of the humbucker. Pull the screw out. The spring will drop out thusly. Get rid of those. Get rid of those. Now, just measure and make sure they're not too far off. They're actually quite a bit shorter. Might work, might not. We might have to reuse those screws. They're actually quite a bit longer than what came out. No big deal. You can do this once everything is soldered in. It won't matter. I can tell you that the way that, if you're looking at the body and the neck is up here and the body is down here, the route through to the cavity is thus. So that's kind of how we're going to put them in. Right? You follow? I don't know if we're going to use these shorter screws, but that's the way we're going to try it. So, yeah, it doesn't seem to me like that. You know, you would want the thinner side of the ring to go towards the neck, because the fat one is just going to be, it's up where the string can actually bang on it. So yeah, it's always the thinner part goes that way. The fatter part goes towards the bridge, if that makes any sense. So this guy is done. Let's unwind our wires. And the wires are much longer. That's going to be plenty of wire. It wants the wire to go around in such a fashion. Thin, the ring, bevels thicker at this end, thinner at this end. This is the part that's going to go towards the neck. Here's the fun part. Wow, back in the day, these things are a lot longer. Way longer. And it could be because of the thickness of the body. These are actually designed for a Les Paul. You know what? We are going to use the old hardware. And if I get enough adjustment later on, I may come back and swap it out with the shorter screws. I'm going to illustrate here really quickly. Let's just cut this open. Just if we can get one of those screws out. Right here. These are the screws that the Seymour Duncan sends. And these are the ones that were in the guitar. I think I'm gonna, even though I don't like that they're not brand new, I'm gonna stay with the old ones. I'm not even gonna use the old springs because these are the ones that came with it. So here's how we play. Put the screw through the ring. Put the spring on the screw. Right? You with me so far? Here's where the fun starts. You have to get that down onto the bracket on the pickup, the humbucker. And keep the wire on the inside of this one. So push it down, get it to where it finds the divot in the bracket, and start to screw it in there. And here's where you're going to do this 20 times. I just did this the other day, and it must have taken me 20 times to get it set in there. And then you have to hold everything and just get a few threads started without cross-threading it. It's the spring tension that's working against you. You can get it, compress the spring and get the screw head close to the hole, it will kind of take over. You see how much fun it is? And it might be my method, but I always start the first one like this. The second one's even more fun. All right, well, let's try something different and make sure that these 40-year-old screws are the same thread, and they are not. We don't have any choice but to use the shorter screws. You see, you never know what you're going to run into. And I know this is going to be even more fun because these screws and these springs are almost identical in length. This is where it gets tricky. Screw goes through the whole spring. Let's try to compress the spring a little bit. And then now you have to compress that spring all the way down without it going kertwang. Get the head, just the first few threads in there, and hope that it doesn't go sideways on you when you grab the screwdriver. I almost had it. I almost had it the first time. I've seen guys cut these springs and go, that's just too much trouble. If you get it close and get it started, you're golden. That one started. You see how much trouble I went through just to get that screw started. Now, we have to do this side. So, through it all, put the spring on, and then try to compress it. Compress that spring to where you can get your, and it's best if you're on a flat surface that's grippy like this. There is no, I've seen a million guys do this a million different ways. There is no easy way to do it. I think I got that one started. I think I got it. Nope. It's the spring that gives you so much trouble. It's a heartache. It's a pain in the butt. I'm blowing a lot of video time just doing this first one because I'm not going to show you both of them. but you kind of get the picture how difficult this is. Get it set, get the threads facing into the threaded hole, and the whole time the spring is trying to go, nope, we're not going to let you do that. Yeah, I almost had it. Almost had it. So we're going to try it a different way and not have it on a flat surface. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I just did this 2 days ago with a Les Paul, like I said, and it was a pain in the butt. And this is where these rings get broken because they're fragile and they're thin. But that's the beauty ring that goes, and that's what you see on the guitar around the pickup. It doesn't take much to make them crack or break or whatever. Guess what? I got that one. Let's make sure we didn't break the ring. No, we didn't. Oh, by the way, I didn't break the ring on the Les Paul either. So the way you start it and get it ready to accept into the guitar body, just make the pickup level with the ring. You're going to adjust that later during setup. As you know, when this is in the guitar, thusly, you use the pickup height. You hold the string at the last fret and you make sure your pickup height in relation to your strings. So that's the first one, and yeah, that looks pretty sharp. I'm going to pause quickly while I do the second one. Now this wire would come around thusly and then go through the body cavity into the control pods in the back of the guitar. And that's going to be another video, but today I'm just showing you how to do these. Pretty sure I got that one right. Before we go farther, I guess we could test fit it into the guitar and run that through there. This one is the neck. We're not going to use the old guys. We had to use the short ones. Imagine that the threads are not the same. Well, because it's an Ibanez. Pain in the butt. I don't want to get those mixed up. Keep them out of the way. Yeah, let's put the guitar up here and see. Why not? I don't know why. Because we can. And see if it goes in there. Stay with me, folks. It's all fun stuff. So, Seymour Duncan facing towards there. Our wire is going to have to come around and come down through the cavity and get over to here. That's our measurement. So how do we do that? Go just like though. And then poke it through. So it's going to come around, and I don't understand that. You would think Seymour Duncan's been doing this for a million years. They would have the wire come out this way. Every guitar, the cavity is over there. Let's just poke it through there and see what happens. See if it makes it all the way down into the cavity. The control cavity. And it appears as though it did. It's right there. Let's tuck it through the rest of the way. And that is what your Seymour Duncan is going to look like in the guitar. I like that. Actually, I like that a lot. That looks really pretty. And that sits and follows the, see the contour of the body goes up higher. That's why one side of the ring is thicker than the other. It tapers down. And we have two really short screws that go in this one, and two regular size screws that go into that one. So, like so. Let's not try to screw into the 40-year-old paint. Obviously, the longer screws go in the thicker part of the ring. I don't know why they call that a ring. I never understood that. I think before I finish this guitar, I'm going to get some cleaner hardware for the pickup rings. Probably going to get a whole bunch of comments. Oh no, you're doing that wrong. That's not how you do that. I'm not tightening these down. I'm just putting them in there for purposes of this video to show you how quickly you can get them installed. I think it takes longer to actually, yeah, that pickup's way low. So that's what these screws are for that are on those springs. When you do your setup, you're going to hold the string and then adjust your pickup height. That's all part of the setup later on. But boy, they look sharp in there. At least that one does. I'm going to pause really quickly while I put this away. We're going to do the next one. Stand by. Okay, so we got the next pickup ring on the pickup, and we're going to push it through the cavity to get it down into the control panel. And the more wires that are in there, plus, you know, remember we have 4 wires going from here, 5 wires going from there. The last one you try to put through is going to be the hardest one. So make sure that when you do this, it's the last time you're going to do it. And try to get it down, look through there and see where are the wires and where aren't they. Once you get it started, keep pushing. Keep pushing. And then sometimes you got to flip it over and pull the wire the rest of the way through, because I could feel that it actually went through. And there it is. Yeah. Sorry, my head. I'm sorry about my head, my big fat head. Well, I got a jumble of wires in the back now. Back laying down. Now, we have a ground wire that we have to solder to the back of this pickup, so I'm not going to attach that completely, but you totally get the idea of what's going on here. Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you, when we put the wire through for that one, guess what I did? Let me get back up there. You put a little piece of blue tape and put N on it, so you know that little wire bundle is from the neck pickup. You don't have to put a tape that says bridge pickup because there's only 2 pickups. N will tell you that little bundle of wires right there with the N on it means it comes from the neck pickup. All the other wires that you see dangling around from there are from the switch, the 3-way switch. That's all in that cavity. You see what kind of mess we got there? But that's what wiring a guitar is. you have to pay attention. We have our ground wire here that goes to the bridge and saddle assembly. This little ground wire that's sticking up right here is going to have to solder to the back of that pickup. So that's why I'm not going to attach that pickup. That goes through to the saddle bridge assembly, and then it's going to ground to there. This is not like a Fender or even a Les Paul for that matter, because sometimes Les Pauls have that little wire grounded there, but not always. Les Pauls have 2 volumes, 2 tones. This is going to be a little bit different. It's got a volume tone. So, yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, and it's starting to look sharp. I took the time to clean up the rings a little bit. I will probably disassemble this all again and clean everything up perfectly now that I know that I have everything fitted the way that I like it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Tricky getting these screws and springs in there on these rings, and you got to be super careful, especially when you're dealing with an older instrument. And I've seen brand new instruments come in, and these rings, while you're trying to get that screw and that new pickup in there, and the ring will break, and then you got to go get another ring. So anyway, that's my rant on how to put. We're putting Seymour Duncan hot rodded pickups in this in the Paul Stanley Iceman. Sorry, I got Les Paul on the brain. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. I hope you enjoyed this. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. Make comments. I love to read all the comments. We'll talk soon.